What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical average American here today to react and learn about Norway's new National Museum opening after 20 years of planning. Is that true? I was looking at this video title and was wondering, has this National Norwegian Museum been in the works for 20 years? Because this video was posted 2 months ago saying that Norway's finally opening after 20 years. Norway's National Museum is opening after 20 years. And I was thinking, wow, I wonder what's gone into all this. What's taken so long and how amazing this thing is. So I'm quite interested to see if they'll maybe show inside the museum, talk about what went into building Norway's National Museum. This is a video created by an American news agency, which should be entertaining to say the least. I'm curious to see how well they cover Norway and covered this topic. But it is by an American news agency, which I thought was funny. Usually these videos are by Norwegians, and I can trust that they are accurate. But we'll see. Let's take a look.
After nearly 20 years of planning, Norway's hotly anticipated new National Museum opened in Oslo this summer, promising to help reshape the art scene of Northern Europe. It combines the collections of 4 museums, creating a mammoth of art and culture with room for 100,000 works, including some of the most famous pieces in the world.
This museum was built to combine the works and art from 4 previous Norwegian museums. Is that correct? That's interesting. I wonder why they wanted to combine it all into one. It is in Oslo, which is obviously the hub, at least the tourist hub and national hub and capital of Norway, so that makes sense.
We traveled there for its opening week and the start of a new chapter in Scandinavia. For more than 100 years, this spot on the Oslo harbor, where the city meets the fjord, marked the nexus of travel to Western Norway. Now there's hope to make this site of a former train station a destination once again.
Wow. You can always count on Norway to have these really, really interesting modern building designs like this. Very geometric with the panels. It's cool. I don't see a lot of buildings like this in where I live in America.
Inside the imposing walls of the National Museum,
Wow.
a vast and ambitious effort to reshape the identity of Scandinavian art.
Oh, do they actually have some like blankets or some fabric? Or are those paintings? Either way.
Art directed by Karen Hinsbo.
When you open a national museum, you're also telling the story of a nation.
Yes, we want to tell the story about Norway, but also to tell the story about Norway in the world.
Yeah, I can see this being an instant hit with tourism and all sorts of people, because you can basically go to this museum now and learn everything, well, at least a lot, about Norway and its history, which I think a lot of Americans and foreigners desperately would need, because we tend to not know much about other countries.
Now one of Europe's largest art museums, it merges 4 of Norway's most expansive collections, including the National Gallery.
Oh.
It wasn't easy. The project cost more than $600 million and took
Wow.
almost 20 years before finally opening this June.
How rare is it to
June, July, August. That was like 4 months ago, I think. But either way, hopefully, oh my goodness, hopefully we're in the correct year. Yeah, I mean, this says 2 months ago. I hope this story isn't from like 10 years ago. I'm thinking this did open like 4 months ago. I hope so.
build a world-class museum?
Opening this June.
How rare is it to build a world-class museum?
I think it's quite rare to get this opportunity
Yeah.
in the 21st century. And of course, we've been thinking a lot about that. What is a national museum today? What is an identity? Is it even relevant to discuss a national identity today? But
Yeah, I don't know if America has a national American museum. National Museum of the United States. I wouldn't know. Would it be in Washington, D.C.? I don't know of it. So, yeah, it is a huge, I don't know. It's a huge pressure to take on something like this and feel like you got to do a good job. Plus, it was $600 million. It's expensive. And you're kind of saying, this is us. This represents our country in a way.
But these are important questions, and we can raise them.
It wouldn't be a national museum without Norway's most famous artist, Edvard Munch.
Edvard Munch. I'm not familiar with Edvard Munch.
Scream, his painting,
Oh, he did Scream?
Norway's most famous artist, Edvard Munch. The Scream, his painting of an agonized man, mesmerizing visitors. Then,
This is one of the most famous paintings of all time. Every American knows this painting, and I had no idea a Norwegian did this. Wow.
and now.
Would you say that that's one of the most well-known pieces of art here?
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
It has its own emoji. you can't really top that.
That's very true. I've never thought of it like that.
The modern-day interpretation perfectly encapsulating life's unexpected moments.
Oh, this emoji. I never thought of that. Hold on. The Scream. The Scream is by Norwegian artist Edvard Munch. Yeah. Wow.
And one of the only originals lives here.
This room is very special to the museum.
Yes, that's true. It's the home of the main home of Edvard Munch's paintings in our collection.
Oh.
Maya Brett-Guling curates the Munch collection and says the room's darkness helps preserve the Scream's delicate canvas, cardboard.
Munch wanted to
It is cool how when you're up close, you can see all the imperfections and the little chips taken out of the painting and the brush strokes. It's way different seeing it in person. You really got to see this stuff in person, which is cool that you can, that it's on display in the Norwegian National Museum.
have a very matte surface because that was part of the message to the viewer. And in the sky, you can read with very tiny pencil letters,
What?
must have been painted by a madman.
A hidden message.
A hidden message.
And the painting has
There's a little message in the Scream, the painting? I didn't know that. That's funny. Must have been written by a madman. Is that what it says?
plenty of its own stories to tell, especially after being taken in 1994.
The Scream by Edvard Munch has been stolen from Norway's National Gallery.
The thieves, seen in the security footage, climbed in through a window, leaving behind a note. Thanks for the poor security. It was
Oh no. Well, I guess they got it back. Why is it that it seems like several famous paintings at one point in their history have been stolen? I swear other paintings have been stolen like this. And the Scream. And somehow they always come back. It must be hard to sell them. It's like everyone knows you stole it.
recovered about 3 months later, returned to its place as a centerpiece of Norwegian art history.
What did it mean to have this painting stolen?
Well, it was devastating. Of course, this was one of the main attractions and main works in our collection. And of course, it's really important to the understanding of Edvard Munch's art.
The museum's collection also includes royal fashion, allowing visitors to get up close to opulent and ornate dresses, once donned by Norwegian queens. Making modern history, Norwegian Peter Dundas, who crafted these designs for international luminaries, including Michelle Obama and Kim Kardashian.
Oh, so he's like a world-famous Norwegian fashion designer. I'm not too familiar with that stuff, but it's cool.
The eye-catching appeal of Nordic taste isn't limited to fashion. Denise Hagströmer is the museum's senior curator of design.
So many of us in the world have been influenced by Scandinavian design and don't even realize that.
Yes, that's interesting, isn't it? It's so ubiquitous. It's everywhere.
Known for its minimal and clean composition, the confident aesthetic combines functionality with artistry. The intentional design seen.
Hold on. What? Are we saying that Norwegians designed all these things?
It's everywhere.
A Norwegian designed this phone design?
Known for its minimal
And this thing that you sit on?
and clean composition, the confident aesthetic
And the TV? Is that what we're saying? I'm a little confused.
seen in everyday items, from early cell phones to robotic vacuums.
They will recognize.
So these are Norwegian-inspired designs, or Norwegian designs. That's pretty incredible. Very incredible.
Many, many objects here, and I've noticed that going around and observing our first visitors, and they talk about.
Wow. Oh, I would love this. I would love this part of the museum. It's almost about some of modern history and how it's been influenced by Norway. This is the kind of stuff that's a little more relevant to now, which is very fascinating. I didn't know Norway had such an influence on basically the whole planet and the design of furniture and technologies.
Exhibits that they recognize, and they get all excited about, seeing them in these cases.
The response especially rewarding after the massive effort to safely transport hundreds of thousands of objects in the move. But the painstaking process of cataloging each item to ensure nothing was lost also presented an unexpected gain.
Oh my gosh, imagine being the person to move these priceless, one-of-a-kind historical artifacts. Imagine the pressure of having to move all those, make sure nothing gets lost or damaged. Oh.
Gave us a whole new perspective and knowledge of the collection. We have 400,000 objects in total. You don't go work with them every day, but when you certainly need to move them, you need to work with them in a different way.
Inside the museum's photography studio, curators are able to see works in a new light, using infrared cameras to dive underneath layers of paint.
When you talk about the ability to not only revisit, but revisit with the best state-of-the-art technology, what do you discover?
We discovered this sketch underneath Edvard Munch's Madonna. Her arm was originally painted in a whole different way.
It's known as one of Munch's most controversial works, but his sketch of Madonna underneath the final painting reveals a more traditional and conservative pose.
Wow, that's cool. Just by using modern cameras and looking under the paint. Wow.
As he experimented with ideas. And though the finished piece now hangs in this gallery, it's far from static. Its enduring legacy, a gift for future generations, much like the museum itself as it welcomes its visitors.
Yeah, this is more what I expect. More Norwegian, displaying some of the older Norwegian stuff. Maybe some of the clothing and some of the stuff that they built. And there's a lot of modern stuff too, and a lot of art. There's a big variety here.
What have you been hearing?
People may not like all the art or the solutions, but they have a really great experience being here. And that is also the most important thing. We're not here to provide consensus. We're here to provide a great space for different opinions.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of different opinions, especially when you create what is a national museum. What do you do to put something in it? It can be subjective. And so that's part about eliciting that conversation to begin with.
I love that ability to look under the painting and find what was the sketch originally.
Yeah, and starting with Scream is not a bad idea,
Yeah.
which I had no idea was painted on cardboard.
Or the emoji for me.
Okay. That was interesting. That was pretty good. This was by CBS Mornings. CBS. Wow, I gotta give it a like. It was good. I feel like they could have maybe shown a little more of the museum. They focused a lot on that artist and Scream, which is cool. I didn't know any of that stuff, but they focused on a couple things. I'm sure there's so much more. Like that museum curator said, there's 400,000 pieces in the museum? That's mind-blowing. How would you even see it all? That's insane. But cool that Norway put this much effort into creating a national museum that can really be proud to represent Norway. And they basically threw everything in there you could imagine. So I think no matter who you are, if you go, you're going to be entertained and learn something, which is fantastic. It looks like they did a great job. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed this reaction, feel free to give it a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway, Norwegian culture, things in Norway that I've never seen before, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.